Sarah Boone with a suitcase, justice on demand. Lawyers ducking cover, judges standing firm. Brows of justice raised, making everyone squirm. Child.
Hey guys, happy Halloween. You guys, it is going to be a great one. I do have a poll up, so you guys can choose if you want to watch me roast Owen's never-ending story of a closing or Sarah Boone on the stand. Uh, I don't really have a, preference, although Owens never ends. So you're in for the long haul if you pick Owens. Good morning, Wolfram. Thank you for doing all of the mod things. Welcome, Reindeer and Penny Williams and Squid Pro Quo. I'm sorry it is stressing you out. I will tell you that I am more stressed out. Petty Ann is curing right now. I added wings. I need help. Welcome, Jedi Jess and Alice G and Kathy Michelle. And let's see, Barnacle Bob. Welcome, everyone. So I'll let you guys kind of filter in and do the poll. I could think of nothing scarier than to cover either Sarah Boone or Owens today because, honest to goodness, those two are ridiculous. But I do have a glowing pumpkin emotional support light just in case. I get too scared. Also in case the power goes out because we're getting storms all day today. Nothing like the boys wanting to put all the costumes on, everything on, and they're gonna be in raincoats. You never can tell with the boys. Although if you are searching, if you are maybe a mama a bit behind on your Halloween, costume stuff, I will tell you Walmart has like 99-cent Freddy Krueger or Jason masks. No, it's Jason. And like $3 plastic scythes and axes and things like that. So, if you still need something, they have a lot of low cost options. If you are in a region where it's just going to be storming and they're going to be wearing stuff over their costumes anyway. Now, I did see that Nancy Grace got in on the Halloween spirit. I am always shocked that Ursula can be so far away from the sea. But apparently she was close to my home base. She was in Delphi. I don't know if they had like a pool of water just next to her so she could jump in and jump out. I don't know. Maybe she gave, Ariel back her voice. Who knows? But Nancy Grace did decide to grace us with her opinion on the Delphi case, and I will be putting out a video on that because, ugh, that woman. Long story short, too long didn't read. Nancy Grace went in for the state's questioning of the prison psychologist, but left before the defense got any cross examination in and basically said he is all the guilties. So, always fun to deal with Ursula the Sea Witch in the morning without, I turn on it's apropos for Halloween, but I go and I look at my Twitter and all of a sudden Nancy Grace is in my face like freaking Bloody Mary, and I'm like, "Oh." Took me an extra 5 minutes to get out of bed after I saw that. I'm gonna get a cease and desist really soon. Nancy Grace's lawyers are gonna be like, "I did great on Dancing with the Stars, shut up." Oh, ma'am, please try. All you're gonna get is Sailor Moon, facty or figurines and everything else. I'm gonna give it another couple minutes. If you haven't voted on what we get to roast today, I do have a poll pinned in chat. If you're a lurker and you still wanna make your voice or your vote, count, you do not have to come into chat, even though we're a pretty nice chat and we don't bite. But you still wanna vote, please vote. Don't wanna leave anyone out, even if you're lurking, and, give you the maybe idea that might dip your toe into chat if you want. No pressure, but this is a smaller, kinder chat. Well, okay, we have dark humor, but there you go. I hope everyone has candy or toilet paper, depending on whether you pick good or evil. This is unfortunately not booze, but a super cute mug that will probably be stolen from me as soon as the kiddos find out what it is. I have a Shirley Temple in here. I'm actually not lying. This is actually a Shirley Temple. 7 Up has a new flavor, Shirley Temple, and quite good, but a lot of sugar, and they don't have the zero sugar one out yet. And it looks like we are going with Sarah on the stand. I will roast Owen's closing. I might do it this weekend on Sunday. I do not know. That one needs to be done and dusted. But oh, I am so jealous. You have the zero sugar one. We are so slow on getting stuff in Indiana. I'm actually surprised we even got the Shirley Temple flavor at all. But let's start on the beautiful, lovely, in her own mind, jowlless, paragon of femininity, motherhood, and sainthood, Sarah Boone, in her own words. Because buckle in, strap in, because Mo has not slept very well tonight because of the rain, and she is ready to unleash all the snark and petty. I will say that coffee ground liner that she tried, maybe when you have super dog tired eyeballs, don't accentuate your under eye circles. I have not slept since I had my first child 18 years ago. There is no amount of under eye primer, spackle, Bondo, duct tape that is going to make that better, which is why I wear glasses. Beauty tips from Mo. Wear glasses, hide under eye circles. All I think she's thinking to herself is, be amazing. You are already amazing. She's doing the Stuart Smalley. You are smart, you are brave, and darn it, everybody likes you, Sarah.
You may proceed.
So you testified earlier that you all had about half of one of these bottles left from the night before, correct?
Wait,
Yes.
that should be her entire. Oh, we have 2 parts. This will be a 2-parter. So I'll probably do the rest of this tonight
you recognize
instead
our
of
jury?
nightly newsy news.
Defense, you recognize our jury. All right, thank you. Y'all can be seated. Members of the jury, after
Oh, them gams are on display. We get to see some legs.
Please be swear or affirm that the testimony you should give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do.
All right, ma'am, you could take a seat. And if you could, state and spell your name for the record for us.
Sarah Boone, 101077.
And could you spell your name?
S-A.
Why would you aim the microphone at your non-existent boobular area, ma'am? Most people would aim a mic, like my mic is fairly close to my face, not so much my nippular area. But she's like, no, I'm gonna showcase my elegant cleavage that I don't have. Hey, it's a choice.
Rahebeoone.
All right, thank you very much. Sir, you may inquire.
Ms. Boone, would you please tell the jury where you were born and raised?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Hell,
You were born in Atlanta?
We're in Atlanta.
And how long did you stay in Atlanta before you moved here to Florida?
I was 3 years old, 3 or 4.
Okay. And from that time,
everyone in Atlanta is like, thank God this chick moved. One less crazy chick that brings infamy to our state and, city.
y'all moved, you and your family, your mother and father, moved to Orlando?
And my grandparents.
Okay. You all moved down from Atlanta down to Orlando?
Yes, and my two brothers.
Okay. And were you raised here essentially from that time on?
Yes.
And you resided here in Orange County, Florida that entire time?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you go to high school here locally?
I did.
Where did you go to high school?
Edgewater.
Okay.
I am surprised Sarah did not make him ask, and were you on the honor roll? Were you in fact a high achiever? Not exactly valedictorian, salutatorian, but a pretty AB honor roller. Were you on the chess club, Sarah? The glee club? The prep club? The pep club? Oh my God, could you imagine her in a pep club? I don't think I've seen such a juxtaposition between a face and a question I've asked in my entire streaming career.
And tell the jury, how old were
She
you when
has
you
not been
graduated?
sentenced
I
yet.
was 18 years old.
Now, I know
She
you lost your
is
mother and
looking
father.
between 20 and
Overrated.
life.
I know you lost your mother and father in your teens and in your 20s. Is that true?
I lost my grandfather when I was a sophomore in high school, and I lost my father when I was a senior. And then my mother passed away a few years after that, and then my grandmother passed away after my mother died.
Okay, now I'm not a mentalologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything, with all the fancy words behind my name. But what I can tell you is the way she listed those deaths, having thought about it, because what else am I going to think about at 3 a.m.? You have all that instability and all of that tumult going on in just a very few amount of years. Then, it could lead to someone becoming completely controlling, like massively control, becomes an integral part of what they need in order to feel safe and or comfortable in any situation. So that could have been the seed of where she just started craving control and not caring about how she achieved that control. Again, that's just my 10-cent kind of armchair analysis of that. I don't think she needed any reason to become self-centered. I think some people are just more inwardly focused, and that can be a good thing if they're super motivated, to do great things. But I do think that that amount of loss, if true, and it can be backed up in, the young, formative, early adult years, might have made it to where Sarah required control. Now, that's putting her in the best possible light. I still think she just suffers from, well, internalized harpiness, but that's just me.
All right, so you were in your 20s when all that was going on?
Yes.
Okay. And then at some point in your 20s, you met Brian Boone?
I did, yes.
All right.
He was a
And
dude
how
at the
long did y'all
mall.
date before you
Money.
married?
A good handful of years. I helped my family with paying mortgage and bills for the house since my father had passed away and my grandfather. So
So you worked outside the home?
I did.
Okay. Can you tell the jury when
I
you said
still
you
press
and Brian
X to
Boone,
doubt.
dated for a while? Do you remember when y'all married?
I do.
Could you tell the jury when y'all were married?
The year?
Yeah.
Um,
You remember the date?
it happened to be, yes, that after my mother passed away, that he had waited to ask me to marry him because he knew it would be,
Objection, non-responsive.
I will say this really struck me as, again, showing Brian, whatever, no one believes her family court letters, but this shows absolutely and unequivocally, even in her own words, because she tells on herself when she tries to make herself look like a victim. Brian waited to ask her to get married until after a sufficient amount of time had passed, and he felt like it would be appropriate after her mother had passed. He wasn't a tyrant like, "We've been waiting handful of years," whatever that means. I guess a handful, 4 or 5. But he did wait, and he did take her emotions and her feelings into account, which is something she says that he never did. Ma'am, keep your stories straight, or at least if you're gonna lie, write it down so you can remember. You have a pen, we know you can write. We've seen your dissertations and, you know, theses and all sorts of, conjecture writing. I know you can write. Write down your lies, you dumbass.
Sustained.
Just answer the question if you can, Miss Boone. Are you a little bit nervous?
A little bit.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, just
oh my gosh.
just
Did you see that little I'm gonna have to take like she just shook off an impudent fly. Like she just what is so much better than everyone. These objections are just to rattle her, but she is not a peon. She is not like other inmates. She will persevere. She will fly. Damn it, fly, radio flyer. What an insufferable thunder cow who didn't even take like the most basic, method acting at the local, just community theater.
tell the jury if you remember the date that you and Brian Boone married.
August 21st, 2004.
Okay. And had y'all lived with each other for a short time before that?
Short time.
Yes. Okay. After you married, how long was it
Still
before
got
y'all had any
married.
children?
Gosh, 6 years?
Okay. And y'all have one son.
Yes,
What's his name?
Lucas.
And how old is Lucas
Oh.
now?
Is that Lucas the one that you'll talk to, or is that the one that you no longer want until he loves you the correct way? I hate, hate that this woman will use her son as this, little prop to show that she's a great, mom, and she's, Gaia, embodied just a force of femininity, motherhood, and unfortunately, but really greatly haghood for me. She is just insufferable, and the way she uses Lucas, he has never been a person to her. He has always been, either a pawn or something that she no longer wanted to deal with, because just like when you tell your kids, hey, if we get a new kitten, you're going to have to help clean out the litter box, and they see the cute little kitten and then forget about the litter box about a week after. And thank you, Jedi Jess, for the $1.99, just in case I curse. Trying to not be super duper cursy. I will save that for Owen's closing, because you guys know Owen's he just lights a special little bit of bitch fire in me for some reason. I don't know. I cannot tell you why, but he does engender the bitch fire hatred in me, and I don't know why.
Lucas will be 14 years old on the 28th.
28th of this month?
Yes.
Okay. So you and Brian were married and y'all lived in Orange County. How long were y'all married?
For 13 years.
Right. And y'all divorced?
Yes.
And as part of the divorce, were y'all to share custody of your son?
Yes.
And so y'all would split days. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
It's sometime after you and Brian split up, did you meet George Torres?
Yes.
All right. Could you tell the jury how you met George Torres?
I met George when I decided to buck up, I guess, and was tired of trying to patch things up with my ex-husband. And I decided to go.
Oh, you mean Brian took you to marital counseling while you were still buffing George and at least a couple other dudes, and he got tired of you bringing strange randos into the house where his son slept and he slept? Was that you're like, I had to buck up. I felt unattractive because my husband was kind of upset about me screwing other people and bringing randos home. I mean, it really is unfair. Have you ever seen the First Wives Club? I was in fact abused. Sure, ma'am. And she went out looking just like this. Managed to find a bunch of hangers-on that apparently had strong enough beer glasses to, go ahead and boff her at the end of the night, whether or not she went home to her husband and children or child. But sure, you needed a little pick me up. You were a little, sad. You had the big sad. You felt like you hit the wall and Brian was gonna replace you with someone new. Sure, ma'am, sure.
one day for a walk across the street and go have a beer by myself and sit and people watch just to get out of my house and a change of scenery.
All right, now is this your apartment?
No, this is the marital home.
Okay.
Who says marital home? I mean, I love this persona. I love smarty pants Sarah. I love thesaurus Sarah. She's like, I needed a change of scenery. I was having, I was depressed and discombobulated and disparaged by my current futuristically, divorcee self. And I decided I was gonna buck up. I watched some self-help videos on YouTube and I said, "Sister, you get up and you go get you a beer." What? Okay. But she is, as I always say, a dimwit pretending to be a midwit who simply looks like a nitwit.
Where is that marital home?
Winter Park?
You're no longer living in that marital home?
No,
Who lives in the marital home?
no one. It has been sold.
Okay.
Well, if it's
So
sold,
this- you
someone
met
probably
George
lives
Torres
in it,
before you got
Sarah.
the apartment.
Yes.
Okay.
Notice that. That is actually a real key thing that I just picked up. If it doesn't involve her or anyone she knows or likes to terrorize, no one lives there. I didn't catch that the first time, but it strikes me as very important right now. Again, I am functioning on about 3 hours of sleep, though. So I am not sure. I do not know if it went into foreclosure. I haven't tried to dig into a lot of Brian's stuff because I feel kind of bad that, he was dragged into all of this by her crazy, demented behind. And for someone who likes to throw out the latent French word, Sarah, maybe you shouldn't resemble the insult that you throw out. And I mean that in the early 90s way, not in the disparaging to people with developmental disabilities, but how you would kind of razz on your friend sort of way. Maybe don't throw that word out, Sarah, when you kind of resemble it, okay?
And you met him at a bar across the street from the marital home?
Yes, we had a mutual friend there.
Were you introduced?
Bartender.
All right. How did you and George get along when y'all first met?
Very well. It was strange how quickly we hit things off and had so much in common. And I never thought that he would be interested in someone like me. And
I am surprised that you are able to attract 2 gentlemen in your lifetime. I really, really am, Sarah. So I was shocked that anyone would be attracted by you also. But I hear you have switched teams and now have a paramour on the outside. I don't know if she'll stick with you, babe. I wish I could say that, she'll stay and this love will stick. And the darts of love have finally hit on the perfect candidate for Sarah Boone. But I doubt it.
just couldn't believe that he was actually interested in me and said a lot of nice things. And 1 hour ended up being 4 hours from when we had first met. And then we would always.
Now, I want you guys to remember that this lovely date, this 4 hour melding of souls, finding of twin flames, I mean, super awesome ending to an eHarmony commercial and possibly ending in a Cialis commercial with the two people holding hands in a bathtub. Now, this is what she is telling the jury. What she told Penny Problem Glasses, the expert from, about DV from HR, she said that he broke her phone, that he laid hands on her, that he threatened to sodomize her. So what's the truth, Sarah? Did you have a great date and then black out and you guys went everything went haywire? Or did you need to look like you really loved George at the beginning instead of weren't using him to, soothe your little, stung ego? Huh. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird.
Would always have something to talk about.
Why couldn't you believe that he would be interested in you?
He was very handsome. He was very funny. He was smart, and I would show up in workout clothes and disheveled hair, and I guess I kind of felt broken from being in the process of the divorce that he knew about. But then,
Sarah, you are broken, but not because of the divorce, because you have to quote in full Mary Catherine from SNL, fame, to quote a favorite movie of mine, Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. You're an ugly person with a mean heart, and we don't give a flying fuck what you think. Best movie ever. I love Janine Garofalo in it. If you need a pickup, after this trial, I suggest you watch Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, because I probably will tonight too, between handing out candy. Which does remind me, a little housekeeping thing, probably will not have nightly newsy news tonight. I will be wrangling 3 feral boys, pre-candy and then post-candy, and handing out candy. And I know I've mentioned it in the past, but our neighborhood is like one of the hardest hits. I have so many bags of candy, and I'm probably going to get more because I don't ever want to turn a kiddo away without having, candy or a little something to make their day a little brighter. Anywho, let's get back to Sarah. I'm sure she's got something more to say.
and one of the things that we could relate also was the fact that he was here in Florida because he had just been divorced from his second wife. So that was another topic that he and I could compare notes on.
So eventually the divorce was settled. Did you get your own place?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that after you, at first you lived in your parents' home, correct?
Yes, until I was married.
And then you moved directly in with Brian,
Yes.
and then y'all lived in the marital home, correct?
Yes.
And then you got this apartment.
Okay, no. Sarah, if you were maybe a millennial, this could fly because we have millennial, kid-olds that are like 26 and have yet to move out of the house. So you could probably, play this, I was a closeted virgin when I got married. I wore white, I was, saving myself for marriage and I was so naive and Pollyanna. Ma'am, you are out carousing like an alley cat lounge lizard. What are you talking about here? I went to church every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. I helped feed the poor, but I never had cable. I mean, ma'am, we have what is it? Photographic evidence and video footage of you going to the mall cruising for dudes. So, yeah, you are not, some shy, sheltered, escaping the Amish chick. Although the haircut, I do wish you would wear a habit. Maybe you could become a nun in prison. I mean, they wear loose clothing, you're obscured most of your body. I'm kind of liking this idea. Not sure how the Catholics feel about it.
Apartment.
Yes.
So that was the first time in your
True.
life that
I
you
always
actually
forget
had your
Gen
own
Z.
place.
Yes.
And what was the address?
4748 France Court, apartment number 3.
And what city is that in?
It's in Wood Park.
How far is that from here?
20 minutes.
Okay. So you got that apartment.
Discord Edge Witch, I encourage you to try it. I will tell you quite honestly, 2 years ago, I would never imagine that I would have a YouTube channel. And I can confess that I am the world's worst technical person, but I have managed to figure it out. If I could give you any advice, it would be look at Marketplace and get a really good, or at least, a good microphone. audio is the best, and, just give it a try if you like it. I know StreamYard, I think, has a free trial, and, just jump in with 2 feet. That's kind of how I did. That's why my name is Mo in the Deep End. I thought of anyone who cannot work a computer without it exploding, I should be on the internet. So that was kind of my thing. I just jumped in with 2 feet. So I encourage you to try it if you want to, and, just have fun with it. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just kind of go with the flow, and you will feel amazingly awkward at first, but you do kind of get used to just speaking to a camera. Now, to be fair, if you are a person that talks to themselves a lot, you will not feel at all nervous. And I usually generally carry on multifaceted conversations with myself. So it is a little bit, it's a little bit less intimidating if you just and generally talk to yourself all the time. But definitely try if you want to, and reach out to me if one of the mods could put my X information on, or Twitter. Reach out to me in DMs if you want, or in Discord. If you have any questions, I can try to help you or generally direct you to where things are supposed to go. Oh, awesome possum. Okay, I don't have to tell you guys or you anything, because dear Lord, do not ask me for directions and do not ask me for technical advice. I am not the person. All right, let's get back to this.
And initially, were you by yourself?
No.
All right, tell the jury.
In the almost year, about 10 months of separation from Brian, my ex-husband, that is the time when I met George. And my ex-husband was trying to buy me out or force me out of our marital home, and I needed to find somewhere to live. And
So did you and George agree?
This bitch probably like pulled the copper out the damn wall when she left the marital home. She probably like took all the light fixtures and all the light bulbs and curtain rods and freaking toilet paper. I mean, she probably did some hella petty stuff. She probably, I don't know, like clogged up the toilets and did just ridiculous stuff, because Brian was like, "Yeah, I pay for this. You don't really work. I'm going to need you to get out and I'll split the proceeds with you."
Did you agree to rent the apartment?
yes, I needed extra income. We could not afford it just on my own.
You were receiving some income from the marriage settlement, were you not?
Yes.
So you did have a consistent monthly income coming in from the marriage settlement,
For the most part, yes.
but you needed more to live.
Yes, to pay the bills and for rent.
So did you and George have some agreement?
We did.
All right, what was the agreement?
The agreement was that if I decided for he and I to live with one another, because it would be under my name, that he would help with the monthly.
Already she is taking control. If I decided we were going to move in with each other and I would be the only one on the lease, he would be paying me, but he would have no rights. And Sarah is not a dumb person, as much as I make fun of her for her thesaurus and plethora of unenumerated words and ridiculousness and futuristically. She is setting up for her control and dominance are her currencies, and she knows how to set things up, whether consciously or unconsciously. She is setting George up to be in a subservient and let a position to have less leverage should she have, you know, any sort of issues with him. She's already setting up that, she can kick him out at any time. He can, be taken off. If he doesn't pay the bills right or pay him on time or do anything Sarah doesn't like, he is not on the lease. She can kick him out. Depending on, the locality and what they think about, common law stuff and squatting laws. I know there's, like loopholes, but she is setting up things, and you can tell the change of scenery thing. So it has been, you know, theorized and heavily implied that Sarah read this book, you know, Terrifying Love, and took a lot of the verbiage from it because she's never really said change of scenery before or terrifying love or, you know, a lot of these different redirect things. She is absolutely reading off a script, and it does come off that way because it's just not in a normal way that a human would say things.
Monthly bills, and on a regular basis where it wouldn't be something that I would have to argue with him about. It would just be an automatic, make sure that everything's paid first, and then from there, hopefully have some fun with it.
Okay. So I understand from that point on, would it be fair to say that y'all saw each other on and off for about the next 3.5 years?
No, I would consider us a couple.
Okay.
At some point, he asked me to marry him.
Okay. But y'all did have,
Okay, I need to see the home video of this proposal because you know Sarah was fucking bitching the entire time. You're not on your knee enough. Oh my God, you didn't say I was an angel. Remember, I have a blind and deaf dog. Just coaching him through the entire thing. And you know what was really sad is unfortunately I never got a chance to meet George. I felt like the most honest and probably humanizing video of George is when she attempted to show him as being controlling when he was just kind of saying, "Look, you've had fidelity problems in the past. I don't care where you go, but I care about you. And, you know, if you're not home at a certain time, I want to know, you know, I kind of expect you and maybe start checking in on you." But he seemed like, and I know he had issues, but in that particular video, it seemed like the closest to real George that we got during this trial. And I feel terrible for the family that, you know, there aren't more, you know, real George things out there, that all we have is that horrific, you know, and I hate to use that word because Sarah's like, it was horrific. But that awful video in the suitcase and all of those awful videos that Sarah took, it just really bothers me that, you know, again, she gets to drag his name through the mud, and I'm glad that the jury saw through it.
did have times where he left and went to live with his parents.
Yes,
Is that fair?
yes,
And there were times where there was an understanding that y'all were going to break up.
multiple times.
Okay. All right. So again, on again, off again.
Yes, this
Good
was actually
morning,
before
Roy.
we had our apartment. That was, I guess, our dating phase.
Okay. So y'all were together for 3.5 years. Is that fair?
Yes,
And y'all had actually agreed to marry?
he had asked me yes a couple of times to marry him, and one time I agreed to yes.
Okay.
He didn't do it right the first 3 times. I had to tell him what exactly I wanted. He got me carnations because he couldn't afford roses, and I said no because I have standards. That's almost exactly how I imagined it going the other several times.
Now, I want to get directly to the date of this event so that the jury can hear your testimony. All right. So tell us, I believe the date is February the 23rd of 2020. Explain to the jury that whole day from the time y'all got up, the whole thing.
Approach.
At least she's not using her very little girl voice because she has modified that, and maybe her team told her that came off as disingenuous. So this is her little toned down in her self-righteous, you know, heroinism that she is just, you know, huffed all of her farts. Ah, thank you for moving it away from her necular, jowlular region. I don't know exactly
move
what
now.
this hairstyle is, but It's not
So it's
working
gonna-
for
it's
me.
just, instead of one long speech, let me break you up over the course of the day. So
Me
do you
too.
remember the date of February 23rd, 2020?
Yes,
Good
Do you
morning.
remember getting up?
yes.
All right, just tell the jury about that morning. What y'all did that morning. What you and George spent the night together at the apartment.
Yes, at that point, he was living there.
Yes. So y'all slept in the bed together
Again, I got a
upstairs.
doorbell ring. I didn't think
February-
anyone was
So you
trick-or-treating
would've
this
gotten up,
early.
y'all had gotten up that morning, February 23rd of 2020.
Yes.
All right, tell the jury what happened when y'all got up.
He was already downstairs and I went downstairs and he wanted to start the day off by drinking because it was a day off from his job. And I talked him into cleaning and tidying up the house for a sense of accomplishment. So that is what we did for however long that it took. So we did tidy up the house and got everything in order, and it was kind of a reward, I guess, to be able to sit and enjoy ourselves and sit on the backboard.
All right, what do you mean by cleaning up the house? What did y'all do?
We swept and mopped. We folded some of the laundry. I know that we did the dishes, emptied the dishwasher, just general run of the mill tidying up.
And did you have your son?
Why am I assuming that the royal we she used equals Sarah Boone telling George he's not mopping well enough? It's like when my husband says, "Hey, we're going to clean the kitchen." And then, he gets sidetracked on another project, or he says, "We should do this." And I'm like, okay, does that mean both of us, or is this the royal we where I end up doing it? And these are normal things I will never understand. I have been a stay-at-home mom for, let's see, nearly 13 years. And that would just be like a morning for me. I would generally, when I was still able to do a lot of things, I have a tri-level house because this house was built by a family that had 7 kids. So, I'd always have a section of the house I was cleaning and, doing, and then prepping dinner and things like that. They had a tiny house with 2 adult people. It shouldn't have been that messy. I mean, how did they fail to get jobs? I just don't understand this. And then how is she always exhausted? Because her entire testimony is like, "I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed." How are you exhausted doing nothing all day? Like, not one damn thing of importance. I'm sure on the nights you had Lucas, it's not like you were making meatloaf, mashed potatoes from scratch and, homemade macaroni and cheese. So please explain to me what the hell you did with your life, Sarah.
Son coming the next day.
Yes, that was one of the reasons why we were able to do that.
What was the arrangement you had in terms of the next day would have been your day to pick up your son from school?
Yes,
What time would you pick Lucas up from school the next day?
I believe his school ended at 3:00.
So you would have been responsible to pick
You
him up and he would be
believe?
spending the night with you that night.
It's funny, but as a mom, I know when all of my children, and I have 6 children, they go to multiple different schools, but I know when each and every one of those schools end because unlike you, I know and love my children and am involved in their lives. You could barely remember when the hell you had a son when you were supposed to pick him up, and you didn't watch him when he was there. You normally just got him out and picked George over your son. So you want to maybe drop the whole motherhood act?
Do that night.
Yes,
So you wanted to have the house nice and clean.
yes,
How many bedrooms are in the home?
2.
And you and George had one bedroom?
Yes,
And who had the other?
Lucas.
All right. Is that exclusively his bedroom?
Yes,
All right. So how long would it have taken y'all that morning to clean?
I don't really remember what time we woke up, but maybe a good 2, maybe 3 hours.
And would it be fair to say that you and George both smoked cigarettes?
Yes,
And would it be fair to say that you and
Inside,
George both drink
naughty
alcohol?
girl.
Yes.
So at some point y'all finished your chores, right?
Okay,
And then y'all were going to enjoy the day.
it hurts my soul to have to defend Sarah Boone, but I will say with 6 children, 5 cats, and a ghost who apparently drops Kool-Aid but has yet to be caught and exorcised, my carpet that we are pulling up may look exactly like that. So I am glad it is leaving. I hesitate to ever defend Sarah Boone, but I will say, it carpet can look like that, and we are getting rid of it. But yeah, it doesn't make sense for a woman and just for basically two adult people and two dogs to have that dirty a carpet. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, I understand that my carpet, involves, at least witchcraft of, I don't know how gum got on the carpet. No one has ever taken credit for that. But hers just seems like she spilled a lot of cheap booze, wine, and whatever the hell she couldn't keep a hold of because she was a booze hound.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, what was the plan?
It was just kind of, we've got the day to ourselves. Let's just kind of relax and go with the flow.
Did y'all make a decision that y'all were going to start drinking?
Yes, we had a half of a bottle that was already in the refrigerator, and I did not want to go out afterwards. I, again, had Lucas coming the next day, so we went over to Publix to purchase another bottle of wine, so we could not have to go out later on that evening.
Now, you were here in court when the state played the video of you two and the Publix purchasing the bottle of wine?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to here with the jury right now?
Yes.
Okay. And that was
Okay, so you had, let's say that was, the full half bottle of wine. So you technically had one full bottle at home. You went to buy another mega, jug of two more bottles. And then George got the second bottle. That's 5 bottles of wine between you and George. And I doubt that he was drinking as much as you, Sarah, because I have noticed, and I don't know if anyone else noticed this, in the videos, Sarah always sounds much more drunk than George ever did. Now, that's just my observation. Maybe he can hold his liquor better. Maybe he didn't talk as much, so it was harder to identify when he was slurring. I don't know. But he never seemed as drunk as she did on any of the occasions that I saw.
was around noonish.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Had y'all started drinking the leftover bottle before going to the Publix?
No.
Okay. So y'all bought a bottle of wine?
Yes,
All right. And how did y'all get to Publix?
my car,
How far is Publix from your apartment?
5 minutes.
How would you get there from your apartment?
What do you mean?
Did you have to go across any major highways or is it right there?
You just come out of our apartment complex and you do a little U-turn and then you come up and it's right in that complex.
But it's easier to drive than to walk.
Yes.
The one thing that she can clarify is like, no, this is how you get to the Publix. And then you go to the bottom shelf and it is $9.99 and it is called Woodbridge Chardonnay. Don't tell me, don't thank me. Just do it. It'll change your life, Maurice. I mean, what are we? I love that the thing that she is clearest about is how to get to her booze. Winning, Sarah, just winning.
I know at sometimes y'all would simply need cigarettes and it was in walking distance. Can you tell the jury about that?
Yes, there was a AutoZone convenience store with in the same, I guess, parking lot of our townhome or complex, and it was just a straight shot from our apartment to a back gate, and you could get right into the convenience store from right there.
Y'all went over to get that bottle of wine around noonish, and how did you took your car?
Yes,
Did George have a vehicle?
I did not.
And how did you pay for the wine?
With my debit card.
You mean with
And then y'all
crime
came back
money?
and started drinking?
Yes.
Okay, tell us what you did when you got back from the Publix.
Just went on the back porch where we usually spend our time because we're able to smoke cigarettes outside as opposed to inside. And
Is cigarette smoking not allowed indoors?
it is not.
Okay.
That apartment smelled like flop sweat, fear sweat, cheap Chardonnay. I'm going to say that Sarah Boone is still a baby powder or Angel Soft perfume wearer because she thinks that it covers the smoke smell. I'm guessing. Well, so she is at 1.25 because this is just the defense's side, and then there is a prosecution or cross on the state. Ask my kids. You can just use the magic card. You can buy all the Pokemon stuff, and you don't even need money, Mom.
Do you have pets?
Yes, I do.
Well, did you have pets?
I did, yes.
Okay. Were they with y'all there that day?
Yes, my dogs were with me all the time when I was there.
How many dogs do you have?
I have two,
And just what are their names?
Penny and Tess.
And what is the breed?
They are red Boston Terriers.
And are they both disabled?
Yes, Penny is blind and Pef is deaf.
So when y'all went out to smoke,
I don't know why, and this may be just the terrible dark humor in me, but why didn't she get a blind dog so then she could have had, see no evil, speak no evil, say or hear no evil. Also, who gave this sour-faced, cuntastic vibe woman her any dogs, anything that was fragile and, needed nurturing? Sarah Boone was what you gave? You know, I don't know. I just never understand why anyone would give her, disabled dogs. I just in one interaction with her, I'd be like, "No, you cannot pet Dingus." Dingus would probably bite her, but, you know, it is what it is.
on the back porch and drink, I assume, as well, correct?
Yes.
Do y'all take the dogs out?
Oh, yes.
Right. Is there a place for them to do their business out there?
Yes, I extended our back porch for them to have a little bit of area as opposed to going from a large backyard from my marital home to our little townhome. And they would come out there and do their business, and I would open the gate and then walk them in the back part of our apartment.
So you and George were just going to enjoy the day together?
Correct.
Is it fair to say you don't have a lot of money?
Yes.
And so y'all were going to do something?
You have
They're
even
going- y'all
less
going out
now,
for
and that
dinner
just warms my heart.
Yes, we primarily, I would consider us homebodies as opposed to going out and partying and doing this and that.
Okay. And how long do you think y'all were out that afternoon outside?
A few hours.
All right. Could you tell the jury what y'all did during that time?
We have a dartboard that's out there, and we just had drinks, and we're just really enjoying each other's company and talking about, things that are coming. We both were looking for a job and just kind of, I guess, encouraging and supporting and planning. And
Well, now you said he had a job. Was he looking for a job? A second.
Merriam-Webster's next to supportive. Yeah, I just never see Sarah Boone's face being there or encouraging or, personable or able to carry on a conversation for longer than 4 hours without devolving into a shrieking harpy from Hades. I don't know. Call me crazy. Welcome, Gina. Yeah, I just can't imagine 4 hours being subjected to Sarah on one of her wine-soaked rants. I too would hide in the bathtub.
A second job?
no, the job that he had was very unstable. And at that,
So he was looking for something to,
yes, at that time, yes.
and so during that 2 or 3 hours, would it be fair to say that y'all drank the bottle?
Yes.
Okay. So would it be fair to say
Owens,
that
that
y'all were
would be a
feeling the effects
bottle
of
and
the
a
alcohol?
half.
Yes.
At some point, who made the decision to
No,
come
actually, that would
I
be
did.
so if they drank the full bottle they got at Publix and then they'd finished off the half one from the other day, that's 3 bottles of wine just in the afternoon while playing darts. Now, a little bit of Mo trivia, but I would not trust me playing darts sober. So I can only imagine the mayhem that would have ensued had they both actually been playing, darts while super drunk.
in? Okay. Why did you want to come in?
I felt that George needed a change of scenery.
Okay. So y'all came in and then,
He is the family court is probably waiting for
did y'all
the
do anything else before he
adjudication of
left again?
sentencing.
Y'all doing anything? I know y'all did some arts and crafts. What did y'all do? At some point, he went to get another bottle at Publix.
Yes.
So what I think happened, and I think Sarah controlled and manipulated Owens just like she did everyone else. I do put a lot more responsibility on Owens because he had a chance to look at how the case had proceeded, the general disposition of the case, the facts in the case. He had a choice, unlike all of the other public defenders that were assigned. So I don't feel sorry for him, but he had to know that his client was a manipulative shrew. Now, I think she got him in saying she wanted to formulate the best possible plea deal that she could get. And then they didn't offer her to go free immediately, and she rejected it. I figured she probably thought that they were going to say time served and she could leave. And anything less than that, Sarah Boone was not going to take that plea deal. And then she roped him into a trial.
Yes, after, I believe it was after it was right before I believe that we had gone inside. Because he called his daughters. I was trying to encourage him to call his family.
Okay, now where are his daughters?
His two daughters are located in Pennsylvania,
And what are their names?
Anna and Destiny.
And how old are they?
Now, this is one of these snarky, underhanded, petty things that I don't know that a lot of people noticed, or at least she thought people would not notice. She thought no one would realize, no one would catch that George's family didn't like him calling when he was drunk. She badgered, berated, and emotionally exhausted this man to the point that he would drunkenly call his family, causing more strife and discord, again beating him down, causing chaos and destruction within his family, within himself. And, I think she thought we were all so dumb that we weren't going to notice these subtle, little, very controlling, manipulative, abusive things that she would do to George. The thing she didn't realize is that a lot of us have been through these kind of relationships. A lot of us can call a spade. And we saw her and we said, she is a predator, not the prey. And she doesn't get that she doesn't come off as the victim at anything. She has zero self-awareness because to invite anyone else's perspectives in would be absolutely paradigm shifting for her. She would no longer be able to cling to her Sarah is right, Sarah is only right attitude and lens through which she has seen the world for 40 years or 44 years. I don't know. I forgot the math, but she's older than me, so bite me, lady.
I believe that Anna is in her 30s and Destiny may be in her early 20s.
All right, does he have any more children?
Yes, he has a son.
And what is his son?
He is in Pennsylvania also.
So part of that afternoon is y'all came in to call relatives, call family.
No, I had him call outside, just trying to, I guess, boost the mood.
I think that format changed,
and,
but I'm not sure why. Maybe we'll get
The
some
first daughter didn't answer.
motions or
and I
something.
don't remember the reason I didn't speak to the second one. I believe if he did, it was just for a moment.
All right, and whose phone we are using?
My phone.
All right. And is that common for y'all to use that, for y'all to share that phone?
It was because George said that he didn't have a phone. So it would either be lost or given to him by his mother. So I didn't know he had a cell phone. So
That
he would use my
really
phone.
So
pissed
it's
her off.
primarily your phone.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I know a lot of people have put out that, maybe George was trying to leave. I think Sarah found his phone from his mom. I think Sarah realized that her control was lessening, that George was accepting, a line of communication to his family that Sarah didn't know. The phone was found in the suitcase. I would not put it past Sarah to throw that phone in the suitcase, put him in there and say, you better call your mom and figure this out. You have this phone, you're lying to me, you're lying, cheating, everything, every name in the book, and sit there and listen to him suffer and basically say, hey, call your mom to get help. You can't call me. You've got a phone now. That would seem like more of a logical trigger. I don't know that George was in a place where he was strong enough to have even thought about leaving. But when you do start to defy these people, when you do start to take outside, perspectives, It's a very dangerous time. The leaving or getting ready to leave in these kind of situations is incredibly dangerous for people. And I think that, the phone was the final straw for her, but this is all speculation and conjecture. The only person who knows what went on that night is Sarah Boone, and I doubt that we'll ever get a straight answer from her.
And you took a lot of photographs that were on that phone,
Yes,
videotapes,
yes,
text messages,
yes.
phone call.
Yes, he and I both on the phone calls.
So he would use it as well.
Yes,
And that phone, is that the one that was seized in this case?
yes,
All right, so y'all called his daughters, and then during that phone call period, did you also call his brother?
yes.
Okay, and which brother was that?
John.
And how many brothers and sisters does George have?
I'm gonna list them if that's okay.
Okay,
It's John, Pharrell, Isaac, Mo.
I have
and
nothing
his
to do with this
sister.
case.
okay. And do they all live here in Florida?
Yes,
Are they close by?
as far as I know, yes.
What about his parents?
Yes,
They live here as well?
yes,
But his ex-wives and his children live up in Philadelphia?
yes,
So you called the girls, then you called, or George called his brother.
yes.
Was that conversation that long?
No, it was not.
And then after that phone call, were y'all inside by this time?
Yes, at this point,
We are at 1.25. Let's see if it's as noticeable at normal. I was just trying to speed her up because,
I
he's
believe that it
uphill.
was a good time to get a change of scenery. So I thought George would be better off inside, and frankly, I didn't want to be outside any longer either.
Okay.
So it wasn't George needed a change of scenery. It was Sarah didn't want to be outside. She never frames it as she frames it first as something she does altruistically. Like George needed a change of scenery. It is this, that, and the other. But eventually it comes down to that nugget of truth. I didn't want to be outside anymore, frankly.
So just to get an idea, about this time is when he went to get the second bottle, or did y'all stay inside for a while before he left?
No,
Yes,
from what I
folks,
recall,
I
it
am
was,
live.
I thought the day was over and it was going to be, get ready for the evening, for the day. What do you want for dinner? Do you have an extra load of laundry that you need to throw in, kind of thing? And that was my understanding. And he said,
This was about 5-ish or something?
I don't remember the time.
Okay. At
She
some
doesn't
point
remember
during that
anything.
time period, did George go to Publix again?
Yes, I thought he was going to be walking to the convenience store, but apparently when he returned, he had gone across the street with my car and my debit card to buy another bottle of wine.
So reporting from my couch has an excellent creator, and I forget his name right now, but I agree with him. He posited the theory that Sarah wanted more wine, but she was, sloshed to the gills already and would not be able to drive. So she sent George out to go get that extra bottle of wine. She did not want to haul her drunken, probably shoeless ass to Publix. So she sent George out because George, again, always looks much more functional in the videos, except for that one where she's exceptionally berating him. But I think she made him go get that. She was, quite frankly, didn't want to leave the house. She just wanted to. Paul, thank you, Discord Edge Witch. Yes, I love him. He actually inspired me to start doing YouTubing stuff because I thought, I'm snarky. I could probably do that. I am not quite sure. Like I said, I haven't dug into George's family history and things like that just because, and I don't, lambast anyone who does because, different creators are going to do different things and they all have to kind of figure things out. But I kind of felt really, really bad that George's, history and things like that weren't so great were out there. I didn't want to cause any more pain to the family by, digging into that and putting it out there just because, they should have some private memories of their father, in my opinion. But that is, neither here nor there. It's just something I didn't do. I'm sure there are other channels that have a better breakdown of all of that. I just haven't done that.
What was your understanding of where he was going?
To the convenience store, walking,
For what?
cigarettes.
Okay. And you learned obviously that he came back and you learned that he'd used your vehicle
Yes,
and he'd used your debit card
yes,
and he'd brought back a bottle of wine from Publix.
right,
And you saw the Publix video of that.
yes.
So he comes back with the other bottle of wine, and did he want you to drink with him?
Oh,
I was
awesome,
expecting
awesome.
this.
Yes. And
Yes, Just a Lazy Gamer is also a channel that kind of breaks these Sarah Boone things down, and he actually used one of my videos, so I was super duper like stoked and kind of fangirled out because I would listen to his breakdowns even after watching the trial the entire day because he was just kind of so interesting and he noticed different things. That's what I love about LawTube. Uh, I love that everyone's watching the same trial and there's so many different perspectives. And I like to kind of see, okay, well, what are they thinking and what did they pull out of this? Because it's very interesting to me what we kind of take away from each trial based on our life experiences and our sort of lenses we see things from, because there are some things that I'll see that other people don't and things that I don't see at all that other people point out, and it is really interesting to me.
you agreed to consume the second bottle with him.
Yes.
So over the course of that evening, drinking the wine, what did y'all do for time-wise? Watch a movie, music, just kind of tell the jury what you remember. I know it's obviously been a while, but
It was kind of a regular thing where I would always try.
Okay, so Tyrone, I have heard several different things. I have heard that he preferred being called George rather than Jorge because he was in a disagreement with his father. I've heard, that he would rather be called George or Jorge. So I've just kind of gone with George because that's how Sarah says it, but it's not out of disrespect. It's simply because I think I just, say it the way Sarah says it. And I have heard that he did not like being called Jorge, but it's not out of disrespect. And yes, don't forget that Runkle of the Bailey and Lawn Lumber are doing a 24-hour charity stream soon. But don't forget that in early November. Definitely, try to support that. I love it when I see, people in this general sphere and circle doing things for others. It really is quite amazing what we can do together as a community.
Try to come up with entertaining activities for George and I bought a puzzle. We started off at one point doing a smaller puzzle and then
Okay, so random funny thing last night, because as you guys know, Wednesday night is date night for Mr. Mo and I, and we ended up watching the new Beetlejuice, but I was like, would you like to do a bunch of activities? I was like, would you like to do puzzles and painting? And he looked at me with the most WTF look and I have ever seen in my entire life. And he's like, no, I don't want to do arts and crafts with you. Can we watch a movie? I was not functional. I was laughing so hard at the confused and rather bemused look on him because, oh my gosh, he was like, what the hell are you talking about? Who the hell, plans like different, play or vacation Bible school activities with their spouse. And I said, no, I learned it from Sarah Boone. She's a relationship expert. We need a change of scenery and we need activities and 3 bottles of wine. And he was like, how about we just watch Beetlejuice? Yeah, they didn't have a TV, but they did have a laptop. I just can't imagine what they did for 4 hours while drinking other than, puzzles and okay, riddle me this, Batman. Who actually thinks that 2 absolutely soused people could finish a 1,000-piece puzzle? I call X to doubt that they did the full puzzle. Sure, Sarah, sure.
We did that very quickly. So then I purchased a larger puzzle, and I believe it was 1,000 pieces. So I thought to get his mind off of things and to focus on something, it would be smart for us to do the puzzle. So for however long that took, we finished the puzzle. So that was one.
Did you every piece was finished, or was it?
Every piece was finished. It was strange that we couldn't find one piece, and we thought it was funny that it was like in like the perfect.
That was so weird the way she worded this. She has to put everything into a positive light that includes her. So she's like, yes, we finished the entire puzzle, but again, you get that truth bit at the end. Okay, well, actually, we didn't, there was one piece that was missing and we all laughed and kikied about it. It is very strange that, again, her basic instinct, she doesn't care how, she's doing on the stand. More so, she cares that people know that she is smart, she is right, and know that.
Perfect place on there, but yes, everyone but one piece.
All right. After the puzzle, what did y'all do?
I decided to continue to maintain and focus him, and I have a bunch of paints that I used of my son's that his grandmother bought him. It's a very big
That might be very
wooden box, and
possible.
it's got pastels, pencils, paint, any kind of whatever. And he and I were very much into art, and with this resource, it got him very.
Now, this sparked my bitch fire like no other, and I know it is such a petty thing to be pissed off about, but she took her son's birthday gift from a grandmother and used it herself to placate her boyfriend that she had chosen so many times over her son, and she decides to raid his Christmas gift. I don't know why, but that lit the fire of 1,000, like, just Roman candles of bitchitude in me. I was just so mad at this. I was so angry that, again, the son that she used as a prop, she, again, like, took his stuff, didn't have any respect for the fact that that was his birthday gift and maybe he wanted to use it. No, she and George need to maintain focus and not be sad about the fact that they were both miserable. Well, both just drunks that didn't contribute anything. And it ticked me off to no end that, again, she took something from her son to, fritter away while drunk. And I know it's such a small thing compared to every other thing she did, but I would never take one of my kids' presents and, use it myself without asking. I couldn't, and especially for something so damn selfish. And I'll use an example. My kids don't watch my streams. I managed to pick up on Prime Day a candle making kit. And, that little bit of Sarah in me definitely wants to try candle making as a hobby. But I know that it would be something that I think my oldest daughter would love. So yes, that candle making kit is still in my closet, not opened. Because if I want to maybe have that be a hobby we do together, I will buy my own kit. I'm not going to take my kid's gift away. It just, as a mom, it just ate me up inside because it's just so gross.
Very interested in being more creative.
How long have you been into art?
Ever
Okay, I'm
since
glad
I
it
can
wasn't
remember.
just me. I thought
As a child,
of all
You like to
things to be
draw?
pissed off about.
I like to do anything artistic.
And I know, we saw some of the pictures of your apartment, but it looks like there was pictures and artwork up. Is that all your work and George's work?
The majority of it, yes, are belongings from my home. And then also some of George's, yes, on
Yes.
the wall.
Was he pretty good at art as well?
Yes,
All right, so you both enjoyed doing that.
very much.
So y'all got out Lucas's art set. What did y'all do with that?
We were just, I guess, doodling, whatever. I would always tell him that everything that you make is a masterpiece. So just let loose and just let it go. And we would just paint and
And
You know,
drink?
paint and drink, yes, and listen to music sometimes, and yes.
You know this absolute heifer cunt bag. Let those brushes dry with paint on them so Lucas doesn't have any more brush. You know that she did not take care of his art set. Just more piss offitude. But you know that they like let all the acrylics dry out. You know, they messed with all the watercolors, didn't clean off the brush. So now the yellow looks all purpley. You know she didn't take care of it, and it just pisses me off more.
Now, with the dogs, did y'all get the dogs involved?
Oh, yes, my dogs follow me everywhere, yes.
Was there some dancing going on with the dogs?
Yes, after we had completed the puzzle and I guess we're painted out, I thought that it might be a good point for us to maybe listen to some music. And the music that George listens to is it's very fractious to me, and it was definitely not going to lighten the mood. So we ended up.
I love that she's like, I am intellectual. I like to listen to Bach and Beethoven. Sometimes, if I'm in a little bit of a tizzy, I will listen to Claire de Lune or, something more modern. But I, an intellectual, only listen to, discordant jazz and Zydeco. You know what? There are musical choices that I razz on Mr. Mo about. He does have Taylor Swift music, so, I do ask him to return his man card once in a while. But when he wants, and he likes to, okay, Mr. Mo, marriage is sometimes knowing just how to annoy your partner just the right way. So Mr. Mo knows that I do not like when he plays a song on repeat. He will play a song on repeat for like an hour, the same song, just because that's what he likes. He likes like just a couple, 3 songs if he's working out. And he knows it will annoy me. He knows it will annoy me to no end. So, it's our love language. We don't say F you. We just, play things that annoy each other. But I would never in front of other people, well, I mean, I did it in front of chat where I made fun of him for liking Taylor Swift. But when I'm introducing someone, you've got to think Sarah doesn't understand that she is introducing how she feels about George. And she is not at all subtle in the fact that she thought she was a better person, a smarter person, a more valued person. And it comes out in these subtle little digs. Well, his music was fractious. I mean, most people don't listen to stupid music like that. You know, it, it it's just that constant little drip of derision that she doesn't understand, that she peppers on things, and it really negates her whole I am a victim. I was a mild, meek, sheltered girl. I'd never even seen electricity or a horseless carriage before. It she just This is not the role she should have played. Had the defense actually wanted to do something, they would have played hard for the manslaughter. They would have said, this was an accident. They would have foregone the self-defense. I think this is where that sunk them. I'm not a lawyer, but I would have fought hard for the manslaughter. But, who knows? I am not Owens.
We ended up finding some channel on the radio, and he was feeling it. And then we ended up, my one dog gets very active and was dancing with us, and we were just
The deaf
having
one
a good
or
time
the
listening to music.
blind one?
And I guess it's getting pretty late. in the evening.
Yes.
Anything else I've missed?
I don't believe so.
All right. So tell
No,
us,
just the part where she put him in the
tell us
GD
where y'all ended
suitcase.
up before you started the game of hide and seek.
We were there. I couldn't think of anything else possibly that I had to continue entertainment. But I remember sitting at the end of the couch and him sitting in one of my son's chairs that was in the living room and just kind of doing this. Like, what are we going to do now? Like, I very much would like to go to sleep.
Had y'all finished off the that bottle that he had bought?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Bless you.
Would it be fair to say that as the day wore on, the more y'all consumed?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that as the day wore on, the more you consumed, the more effects you felt from the alcohol?
Of course, yes.
Both of you.
Yes.
So you would agree, would you not, that at the time y'all were trying to figure out something to do and you put your head down on the couch, that would it be fair to say that y'all were intoxicated?
Yes.
Tell the jury what happened.
At one
Welcome,
point,
DK Cripple.
I guess he knew that I couldn't come up with anything else, tapped me on my knee and said, "You're it." So from there, I ran up the stairs and hid into our shower, just waiting for him to find me so we could hopefully go to sleep soon at some point. And
Your shower, is it
Now, I have to say that I take everything Sarah says and Uno reverse it. So I'm guessing that George was ready to turn in. I'm guessing that George was like, come on, babe, we need to sleep. You know, you got your son or something like that. And Sarah was like, no, it's like only 11. Shut up. I'm a great mom. Shut up. Let's play hide and seek. So George was probably like, okay, fine, go hide. And maybe he was trying to pull that parent thing where you just send the kid to hide. And then you're like, oh my God, you are the bestest hider ever. I could not find you. Go hide again. I suspect that then she was like, hey, let's see if you can hide in the suitcase. I bet you couldn't do that. And George probably thought, okay, again, let's just appease her. Let's, get in the suitcase. And then this craziness happened. Oh, Denise sells. Mo, I have friends who are deaf and they felt music through their feet or hands. I'm guessing the deaf dog wanted to get off the floor because her music was fractious. That is a really interesting thing. That makes sense that you would feel the vibrations in different places. I hadn't thought of that. And Squabob, thank you for gifting 1 membership. And that went to Mongoose. And I have tags again. I'm feeling all like I'm firing on at least 4 of 6 cylinders today, which is great. Sometimes I do actually have a functional, day.
is it a tub or just a walk-in?
It's a tub, but it's in the master bedroom, and you have to go all the way upstairs. You have to go in the bedroom, and then you have to go into the bathroom part, and then there's the shower part.
So did you lay down in the tub?
At one point, yes, I was.
So you were hiding.
I was trying.
Okay. And did you believe that he was going to come try to find you?
Yes.
Did you wait?
Yes,
that.
for quite
And
some
then
time.
All
Thank
then
you
what did you decide to do?
for gifting
Yeah,
another
I decided
membership
that I need to go to
and
sleep.
that
I'm
went
picking
to
my son up
This
the next
World
day,
Edge
and
Witch. Congratulations
we
and
need
welcome to
to
the Church of Mo.
start wrapping up the evening. And I went downstairs to find where he was.
And what I think the jury has seen pictures of your, would you call it an apartment or
It's considered a townhome.
a townhome? So you walk down the stairs, right?
Mhm.
And at the bottom of the stairs is a bookshelf here?
Yes, at the very end of it, yes.
Okay. So you walk down the stairs and you turn and look in the living room. What did you see?
I don't even think I made it all the way down the stairwell because I was just looking for him as soon as I could to hopefully go upstairs as soon as we could. And I looked over and I saw him settling himself in the
Yes. And the Church of Mo is not really a religion, though we are working on, our tax exemption. No, our our cult. I am the only cult or semi-religion alternative one where I don't want to sleep with your wife. This is really a conglomeration of introverts. I want to create an introvert commune, town of social recluses where, basically you just live and, if you want to people, we'll have peoply places. But, you know, if you just want to be left alone and do whatever you want, as long as you don't bring recorders into my, particular commune, we're good. Also, the only other rule is do whatever you want, have whatever kink you want, just don't tell anyone unless they ask, and then if we ask, we get to ask all the ridiculous questions. So, I don't care if you're a furry, but, if I do ask at some point and you're okay with it, I will be asking all the questions. All the questions. So there you go. That's kind of my paradise, like just a quiet community with a bunch of introverts who are semi-social sometimes, but basically we just leave each other alone.
In the suitcase.
All right, tell us about the suitcase. How long, is it an older suitcase?
Yes,
Whose suitcase was it?
this is George's suitcase.
All right, and did he use it for traveling back and forth to Philly?
Yes, I had recently taken him on a trip to go see his children in Pennsylvania.
Don't you mean Brian had paid for a trip to go see his children in Pennsylvania? And that suitcase was pretty broken. I don't understand this whole I was gonna donate a broken thing. Why would you donate something that's broken? You could have just thrown it in the trash.
Who he hasn't seen in years. And we took that with us. And because of how dilapidated it was, how broken it was, in the end, after that trip, we decided that we would donate it.
All right.
Okay, to have the perspective that even your trash is a treasure. Like, look, I know that the suitcase didn't have a little zippery thing, but it was an original Sarah Boone. And I touched it, therefore, everyone will want to donate it. Everyone will want it. Yeah, why would you donate broken things? That's dumb. I mean, I donate the boys' clothes that they are, outgrown, but I never donate things that are either, in disrepair or cut up or broken or too dirty or stained. That just seems like a dumb and kind of gross thing to do.
All right, and I understand y'all kept the suitcase upstairs.
Yes,
How long did y'all keep it upstairs?
since we had moved in.
Is there a closet up there you kept it in?
Yes, it was in the master closet, the master bedroom closet, all the way in the back because of the size of it, and there was nowhere to put it, so it's all the way in the back.
So when did y'all decide to move it down from upstairs to downstairs? Was it that day or sometime earlier?
No, it was maybe a week or so prior.
Okay. And so what, y'all were gonna donate that to Goodwill or?
Yes, we were going to do, I guess, a spring cleaning. Anyone who has children understands that they grow quickly, and there was a lot of clothes that I needed to go through of my sons, and then also from.
You were free every day from the crack of noon when you woke up to, I don't know, 3 p.m. Or 3 a.m. when you were, drunk, passed out into bed. How could you not? You don't have kids. I mean, I always had thought before I got hurt that when all of my kids were in school and before I got hurt, I mean, my house was a lot cleaner than it is now. I mean, I mopped the floors. I had a plan of where things were going to be cleaned. And I got a lot of work done during the time the kids weren't at school. So you're telling me she has Lucas, what, once every 2 weeks, and she couldn't figure out to, go through his clothes? Sarah, you are just highlighting that you are a do nothing, say nothing, know nothing person who squandered her life away, squandered, the precious opportunity to get to know your son and see the human that he's going to grow into. And now, thank God, he's going to grow up with much less of your influence. And hopefully, he hasn't been poisoned against all women because he will not have to deal with you as much. And hopefully, the therapy helps him work out all of the ridiculous feelings that you have forced on him because of your actions, Sarah, your actions, no one else's.
From George and I moving in and just kind of putting everything in there, at one point where we just needed to actually go through it and organize it and get things more in order.
So is that the reason it was downstairs? You were going to donate it and a bunch of things that you're going to put inside of it.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So it'd been down there a week, so it was already down there.
Yes, George brought it down.
Okay. So you said that you got down there, you're looking for him, you see him settling into the suitcase.
Yes.
What did you do?
In my head, I said, oh man, we're obviously not going to be going to sleep anytime soon. And I walked over and he was trying to get himself flat, so I couldn't tell that he was in there. And then
Now, let me stop you there. The suitcase, is it the suitcase over here in the
yes,
box? You've seen it, you saw it.
yes.
Good luck, have
It's a pretty
fun,
big suitcase.
and yes,
Yes.
take care of your mental
How
health.
big is George?
George was my height,
How
and
tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Okay. And how much did George weigh?
I thought it was 100 pounds.
Okay. And how much did you weigh?
I was 98 pounds.
All right. Do you agree? you put on
Sarah?
some weight?
In true Maury fashion, the lie detector has proved that's a lie. According to your intake documents, you are 140 pounds. And I am not here to size shame or body shame anyone, but ma'am, you are not 98 pounds. But you have to be less than George, don't you? You have to in order for this to make sense. Everyone who saw that TV video, knows that he was severely malnourished, in not great health at all, and barely had the energy to swing that bat. But you have to make yourself look weaker. I don't believe Owens when he said, 100 times out of 100, George would win. Now, normally I would say that, yeah, most of the time a male would win a fight against a female, but she had a substantial amount of weight over him, and she has that unleashed, demon thunder cunt thing going on. So I don't doubt. Oh, she got to 140. Okay. Well, I saw it on documentation floating around on the Twitter twats, as Baker would say, that she was 140. She might have been 98. I don't really care. She has the power of Satan behind her, and she would be malicious.
What?
Since I've been incarcerated, yes.
Well, at the time, though, y'all were pretty skinny.
Yes.
So from the pictures, it looks like y'all were both pretty thin.
Yes.
All right. So because of his thinness, is that how? And he's a small man.
Yes.
Okay. So he was able to get in the suitcase on his own.
Yes.
Did he willingly get in the suitcase?
He was already in there.
Okay. When you got to him, did he see you?
Yes.
All right. Tell us what happened.
I mean, I zipped him up. We thought it was funny. And we're joking about how he was, I guess, small enough to fit inside of the suitcase.
All right. So what?
You are never going to convince me that this was a fun thing. I think it was a punishment from the jump. I think she, got him in there under false pretenses and zipped him up quickly. I think she had, also my pause game has been impeccable, and I continue. I think this is a real winner and a possible thumbnail. So let me get my snipping tool real quick so that I can get this beautiful picture of our, the Queen Samsonite herself. because this is definitely a thumbnail, and I just figured out how to do this. Mr. Mo was maybe a little bit more than a lot disappointed in me when I was like, my new keyboard has the window button and it looks like a window and it says Windows. And he's like, your old keyboard had the same thing. And I was like, nah, I didn't have the picture. So I have learned how to take a screenshot. Angels of the internet, rejoice. I will not break it as much.
What happened then?
From there, it was just, we were laughing about it, and it was just strange that he was small enough to fit in there. And then I kind of moved it around a little bit with him in the suitcase still. It was still funny that he was still in the suitcase. Just, I think he and I were just kind of, couldn't believe that he could fit in the suitcase.
Did you eventually close the top?
Yes, in order for, well, the top was already closed. As he was settling himself in there, that's how I knew he was in there, was because the top was kind of flopping a little bit.
Okay. So he had got in there to hide and he pulled the top
Yes,
on top of it, but you could tell he was in there.
yes,
You saw him right away.
yes,
All right. So at some point, did you zip him up? Did
yes.
you? And what was he saying or
Owens,
doing when you were zipping him up?
she just said that in her long-ass run-on sentence, ridiculous explanation. Why are you asking if she zipped him up? She said she zipped him up.
We just thought it was funny.
Were you both laughing?
Yes,
And so you zipped him up. Were y'all still laughing once you zipped him up?
yes.
I
Tell us-
prefer
tell the jury what
deadlifts.
happened then.
From there, I moved the suitcase around a couple of times, just kind of on the wheels, and moved it around. And
Oh, and so I think what Mr. GST360 was saying is that in a fight, if George knew how to fight, he would probably win. Not that they did fight and George, beat her up, but more that if there was a hypothetical fight, George would possibly win. Yeah, I think she double zipped him in. But that's just me. Of course, I give Sarah no credit except for carpeting is hard to keep clean when you have a bunch of chaos children at home.
at that point, it was funny. We were joking and laughing about it.
All right, now eventually, did you go sit down on the couch and get your phone?
Yes,
Did I miss something?
well, the suitcase had, for me moving it around, was flopped over. So while it was like that, I thought at that point I had a moment to, I guess, take the time to talk to him while I guess he was not able to get out for a moment.
So you flipped it.
So you made a conscious decision to trap him in there. That is it, Sarah. That is why you got second-degree murder. Everything else, you could have played this off. You could have said, I was drunk. I didn't, think that anything was going to happen. It still would have been reckless homicide or manslaughter. But you had to bring in this bullshit story to make yourself a victim. You would not listen to any of the wiser people around you. Ashley Banfield got it correct. You didn't listen to anyone. You thought you were the smartest person in the room, and you have been distinctly dislikable since you, popped up for your 15 minutes of infamy that you've dragged on for 4 years because you are an insufferable cunt.
You got it on the top, right?
Yeah.
It gets in, but at some point you flip it over so the zipper is on the bottom.
Well, it was just kind of how I was moving it around, and it ended up kind of flopping. So
It was upside down.
yes,
So after you did that, what did you do?
That's when I went over and decided to videotape to just see the, I guess the gist in it for him to understand that right now I feel safe and right now I have the ability to actually speak to you in a manner that normally I would not have the ability to do.
And
You wanted to get on your bully pulpit, Sarah, just for you. A tiny violin. Again, Pain Mo comes in a clutch. My very own teeny tiny violin to play a sad song just for Sarah. I think $7.99 on Amazon. Not gonna lie, probably the best gifts that I don't remember ordering myself. Best. Sarah, I'll send you one so you can just play it in your cell when you talk about all the things that have gone wrong. Freaking dingus. Now, I will have to stop here in about 30 minutes. I will make tomorrow just a day-long Sarah Boone stream because we are going to definitely have to finish this roast. She is such a ridiculous person, but let's continue. Maybe we'll get done with the defenses closed. I doubt it because I paused because she pisses me off, but we will attempt to. Or I might come back and do an afternoon stream with the states part of this, depending on how wrangleable the three youngest, most ferals are, because it is Halloween night and they will be, spot on working on their masks and their stuff. But hopefully we will get this done today.
you were intoxicated,
Yes.
and you would agree that you said some things you should not have,
Yes.
but you realized he could not get out and get at you. Is that fair?
At that moment,
So, and this is where Owens tonally went wrong. So, some things you shouldn't have said, and Owen diminishes the kind of claustrophobia and terror that George was going to be going through by saying it's a pretty big suitcase. Now, the state, takes care of that by actually having her, go up and show that it is not a very big suitcase. But they should have faced this head on. You sounded really mean. You sounded really angry. Get those facts out there. That's what the state did with George in the beginning. They knew that there were going to be some bad facts. And generally, what I've seen with competent lawyers is they get in front of that. Instead, he diminishes it, uses diminishing language of the snuff film that his client took of a man dying and pleading for his life and said, "You said some things that were kind of mean. You didn't like it." This is why, people didn't like her. Maybe we could have gotten to the point where we could have understood an accident because all evidence shows that she has been a non-functioning alcoholic for years. But then you try to put this, absolute victimhood thing that is both false and an absolute insult to people that actually go through this. Sarah, you are not a victim. You can read a book about DV. You can look at all the charts. You can have penny problem glasses from HR tell you all the things to say in 9 visits. But you will never come across to anyone who's ever lived in one of these relationships as a victim. So you can try. I would suggest that you pull out one of those crystal balls and see if you're ever going to get out of prison. That you go on and bloviate about in your, child court or family court thing. Maybe you need to get a crystal ball. Maybe that would have helped you, see that you are never going home.
moment, yes.
So it goes on for about 10 minutes.
Yes.
You heard it here today, did you not?
Yes.
You heard his voice as he was speaking from the suitcase.
Yes.
That was his voice on the video and audio.
Yes.
And you heard your voice on the video and audio.
Yes.
That was your voice.
Yes.
All those things said by the man were said by George in that 2-minute video.
Correct.
All the words said by the female were said by
As
you.
opposed to
in that
what,
2-minute video.
Mustafa?
Correct.
Were you intending on
Rafiki?
showing him the video the next day?
Yes.
At the time or the next day, is it fair to say you don't even remember videotaping?
I do not.
So from what you can tell from watching it, did that refresh your memory about that event?
I did.
Why did you say all that?
So, Jedi Jess, I am going to go out on a limb and say that this was the defense Sarah always wanted to put on. Sarah wanted everyone to see her victimhood, and in her eyes, she is a victim. All of those videos that every single functional human being thought looked like abuse towards George, those were her evidence. You don't, so I actually had to sit down and think about this. But the lens through which Sarah has to operate, the lens and the only thing that keeps her very fragile, very broken ego together is to see everything through this lens and to boldly and derisively and, condescendingly, shoot down any perspective that does not, follow her particular narrative. To allow other perspectives in would be to admit to herself that everything that tiny mean voice inside her that she puts so much projection up and so much, bullshittery out to, protect that broken person inside of her. If she actually had to look at herself head on and admit the truth, I really do think it would break her psyche. I honestly do. And again, I'm not a professional, but she has functioned for, damn near 30 years with this protective, I am the victim, I am right attitude because it protects the broken person inside her. And Sarah, I don't know what broke you. I don't know who broke you, but I know as a fellow broken person, as a fellow person that has that mean, ugly ass voice inside, and I bet a bunch of people in chat have that same mean ugliness inside them, have the same brokenness. But you know what we do? We remember how it feels to be hurt and broken, and we don't pass that bullshit along. So maybe join the rest of us as a goddamn adult and stop using whatever victimhood that you think you have in the past to excuse the fact that you shoved a man in a suitcase and listened to him die. How about that? I really hate this trend now of I have X, Y, or Z trauma in my past and it excuses my absolute bullshit behavior. No, it doesn't. Everyone has things in their past and trauma isn't equal. What seems like an absolute insignificant thing to, someone else could be a really big trauma to other people. But like many of us, we all have those things in our past, and most of us don't put people in a suitcase. Let's see, Mo in the deep end, completely off topic, but screw Peanut. When I want to smile, I have a channel called Choo Choo's Story. It's her and her adorable chipmunk friends. Chipmunks are better than squirrels. Okie dokie. Well, to be fair, squirrels have tried to unalive me on many, many occasions. Y'all, I don't know what I did to woodland creatures in the past. I don't know if I suddenly inhabited the, body of the, new Snow White and suddenly animals hate me. But we have had squirrels chew through the brake lines in my car. So between the deer attack and and it's not a deer attack, a deer just startled me. Let's see. Wig advice. So what I do is I take my hair, I braid it, and I bobby pin it to my head, and then I put the skull cap or the wig cap on. I usually, if I know that it's going to be a tighter wig, I try to wet my hair down. I know some women are really good at braiding their hair and like French braiding it or no such skills. No such skills. I just that or a skull cap that really stuffs it all in. But yeah, I would just braid it and bobby pin it really tightly to your head if you can. Because I have like 900 pounds of hair. I had to pay extra when I did my hair because I used so much product. I was like, "I'm sorry, I did tell you I had a a German Shepherd, sort of top coat, but I did warn you that I had, an Australian Shepherd undercoat. I did try to warn you."
Or I'm talking about just the 2-minute video part. That'd be cool.
Oh, I
Could
forgot
you
I
just
left
tell
it
the
up.
jury what you were feeling, what your feelings were at the time, and then explain that to the jury. You mentioned, you talked about it before. You said he was in that confined space.
Owens, these are feelings. Sarah should be able to recall what she felt at a certain time. In fact, it's the entire basis of your case. The fact that you are having to coach her and redirect her with scenery, you know, and all these other things. I cannot. Oh my gosh. This woman, these two have become the worst sort of codependent ridiculousness. It's like watching 90 Day Fiance when you know it's going to be an absolute effing train wreck. It's like, yeah, I'm codependent and I went all the way to Australia to find a man. And he's like, I'm codependent, have, had 5 divorces, but I think it's going to work this 6th time. Anytime you see Big Ed joining a relationship, that's how I feel like these two. These 2 are the inevitable end of a Big Ed, relationship.
Space, and it was my chance. But do you want to elaborate on that, or?
Sure. I want you all to know that the majority of the time, am always afraid and always scared.
All right, well, I understand that. Okay, I understand that. But
No
would it be fair to
problem.
say
Welcome, welcome.
that you had some anger at that point?
I did.
Would it be fair to say that you wanted to tell him off to some degree?
I just wanted, yes, for him to have a better understanding, which was the whole point of the videos and documentation prior.
And you could tell that he was uncomfortable.
I'm guessing.
And did you?
I think this is probably the truest thing that Sarah said, and I am going to end here because I have an IEP meeting, with, one of the sons. So I will set up a stream probably tomorrow. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. It is rainy and yucky out, and my leg is having none of it. So I will probably not set up a stream in the afternoon like I originally planned. I will finish this tomorrow, so we will have a Friday roast full of fuckery. Just all the words, all the things, and all the roasting of Sarah. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And as I say at the end of all of these, or I try to at least, if this relationship, if this, these videos have kind of said, gosh, I'm going through a little bit of this, or like, that looks familiar, please, please, please consider leaving. You do not deserve to be treated like utter crap. Man, woman, zimzer, furry, non-furry alike, even Nancy Grace, though I struggle with that one. No one deserves to be in a relationship where you're made to feel less, where you're constantly berated, where you're kept from your family and friends. So let me see who is on right now, and I will send you there. I am a professional sometimes. I always forget to redirect. So thank you for reminding me. It looks like you guys have a choice between Judge Alex Manning is on. She is a kick-ass judge who takes no prisoners, which would be a great juxtaposition after Sarah. We also have Recovery Addict and Ada K. So if you would like any of this, I think I will probably, if I had a I'm probably going to choose to send you over to Alex Manning. She is absolutely awesome judge. I wish she was the judge on Sarah Boone's case, even though I love Judge Cranick, Brows of Justice for all. But I will say that I would have loved to see Judge Manning just roast the ever-living hell out of Sarah Boone and or Borowski. But thank you guys for joining me for this shorter roast. I will see you guys tomorrow for more roasting and probably Sunday for the Owens closing roast. That one will be super special because I will need an adult beverage, emotional support, mega pint for that one. Not gonna lie. And the real roasting, of course, is coming on December the 2nd. I want to see Judge Cranick throw the book and the thesaurus and the dictionary at Sarah, all figuratively, of course. I will see you guys in a little bit. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have a wonderful, safe, and spooky Halloween when you guys have that. And don't eat too much candy. Brush your teeth afterwards. Oh, Abby, true, true. But I think she got off on it. So I'm going to call it technically-ish legal for humor purposes. But you are correct.